What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Queens Season 1, Episode 2. So we pick up this episode where we left off last week with the ladies standing looking at the billboard about them going on a world tour. And they're like, listen, we don't want a repeat of what happened in San Diego. So Eve is saying how she's going to forgive her husband and take him back. Um, and just as they're, having this conversation, Eric walks up. And Eric's face looked like he done went 20 rounds with Mayweather. And they're like, what happened to your face? And he was like, nah, don't worry about it. It's all good. What's important is, me being here for you ladies. And they were like, nah. What happened to you? And just as they're having this conversation, some dude walks up to them with a hood on and shoots a gun. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say it now before I forget. On the record, this is what I think happened. I think it's Notori Notting's husband coming to kill her. But we're going to get to that in a second. I just had to say that because I might forget later on. But then we have, this episode is a bunch of flashbacks to explain what happened. So we flash back to San Diego. We see the ladies on stage performing. And about halfway through the performance, Brandy, you can see she's a little off. You can see she ain't quite with the rest of the group. And about halfway through the audience, halfway through the episode, Cameron comes out on stage. They had a song with Cameron. And about halfway through the song, Brandy is like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm out. Nasty Girls is over. And of course, the rest of the ladies are looking at Brandy like, the fuck? And she was like, yeah, I can't do this. And she walks off the stage. So that's officially, remember, we saw last week, that's when the episode was over. I mean, when the group ended. Excuse me. So what we found out, because we had a bunch of flashbacks, so I'm going to go ahead and give you another flashback. What we found out is, before they went out on stage, Brandy had confronted Eric about the money situation. She was like, listen, what's going on with our money? Like, why are we broke? And Eve was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I flew here on a G4. And Eric was like, that's why y'all broke, because private jets and studio time and advances on coke, and because remember, Notori had a coke problem. And she was like, he was like, that's what's going on. And so Butter Pecan says, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the real, because he too pussy to tell you what's really good. And what's really good is, y'all signed a stupid deal. He taking all your money. He taking all your publishing. It's going to him. She said, but me, I signed a different deal, because this was never about becoming a superstar for me. This was about getting my hustle on. And so I had lawyers look at my contract, and my contract is good. So that explains why she's kind of the only one that sort of has had all these other opportunities, because she from the beginning was stacking it up, right? Now another flashback all the way back. They started off as a trio. They knew each other from high school. Eric was their manager. It was Brandy, Notori, and Eve. But Pecan sees them performing down up in New York, and she sort of slides her way into the group, letting them know, listen, I'm that fourth element that you need. I'm going to put us over the top. Y'all need me in the group. And they are skeptical, and they side-eye her, but she convinces them that she needs to be in the group. And so, again, we're getting a lot of these pieces in place. So we see Butter Pecan from the beginning didn't have the same bond with them, because they didn't grow up together like the other three did. They didn't grow up together, and so they don't have that connection. Anyway, present day, there's more flashbacks, but we'll get to them. So present day, we see Eve with her husband. He's on his way to the hospital to go have his surgery for the tumor. And Butter Pecan is like, girl, have you seen the autopsy? I mean, not autopsy, Lord. Have you seen the CAT scan, the MRI, something? Like, do you have proof that he really got a tumor? Because it just seemed real convenient that all of a sudden he's sick when he got caught. And Eve was like, girl, whatever. So she's taking him to the hospital. Butter Pecan is babysitting the kids' child. She got them doing yoga down to the house, honey. Now, while that's going on, Notori is up in Montana living her best lesbian life, okay? Her and her girlfriend, they done woke up together. They making googly eyes at each other. They having all that, morning pillow talk. And then they smell bacon. Like, bacon? Who in the world is cooking? And Notori got her 12 gauge shotgun because, baby, she was like, hold up, somebody done broke into the house. She goes downstairs. It's her husband, and he's cooking breakfast for them. And he's like, listen, I know what you told me. I get it. You love her. I love you. Let's go ahead and just have a poly relationship. Like, there's nothing in the Bible that says, there are plenty of men in the Bible who had multiple wives, and there's nothing in the Bible that says I can't have one. I love you, and why can't we just do this, why can't we just do this as a group? Why we can't make it work? And Notori is like, bruh, like, I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry that I wasn't living in my truth and that I chose to live in my truth now. But please understand, that is not going to happen. No way, no how, no sir, no ma'am. I'm going to be with her and her only. You are not a part of that equation. She was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, you know what? So am I. And baby, the way his face changed up and the way he walked up out of there, I said, he was the one with that gun. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Now, Lil Debbie Snacks is down at the rehab, giving them her best diva-alicious situation. And she ends up running away from the rehab. And she runs straight to Notori, because, they bonded. Because both, Notori had the drug habit. So they sort of bonded on that. So she runs straight to her like, listen, them people in rehab couldn't handle me. They wanted me to sleep on a twin bed and everything. Like, I can't do that. Don't send me back there, please. Now, while this is going on, Brandy is having this great conversation with her daughter. Now, listen. For the most part, I was here for the episode. But that little piece, I do have to say, I agree with my brother, El Teddy. How last week your mama slamming doors, your daughter slamming doors in your face. This week, y'all having a nice, pleasant breakfast. And I don't get the impression that it's just because her mom was on TV. Like, I don't feel like she was impressed by that. So I don't think it was, oh, well, you had a good day on TV, and this, that, and the other. Like, I don't think that's what it was. Now, while they're having breakfast, Cameron comes through. Now, remember, Cameron was with them the night that the group broke up. He said, listen, I got my, I've been watching you. I've been keeping my eye on you. I like what you're doing with your career, and I want to sign you to my record label. I got a deal. I want to sign you. And so, of course, she's like, for real? For real? And her daughter tells her mom, you got to go for it. Like, this what you've been wanting. You got to go for it. So she gets to the label to sign the deal, and they want to sign her as a songwriter. Like, they like her stuff, they just don't want her to perform it, because they were like, okay, how are we supposed to sell a 40-year-old ex-rapper as a folk singer? Like, how are we going to sell that? And so Brandy was like, well, listen, that ain't what I came for. I didn't come here to be nobody's songwriter. I came here to be a performer, a singer. And Cameron, you told me that's what you were going to give me. And he was like, listen, that ain't what we signed up for. Like, I told them what I wanted to bring you on for. This isn't what we agreed to before you got here. So he's letting her know, listen, I didn't screw you. They're screwing me, And she just says, you know what? Forget it. I'm done. Forget it. We're going to get back to that. No, let's go ahead and knock that out. So then Brandy calls her daughter, and her daughter tells her, so you just gonna give up on music? So what was all this for? All the years of you missing my recitals, all the missed birthdays, you spending your own money traveling, like all of the sacrifices you made for music, which includes me, you just gonna give up on that? Then we have this really Lee Daniels inspired, unnecessary musical moment of Brandy singing and her daughter, Brandy down in, I guess, Nashville singing, her daughter at the house playing the piano, and Brandy busts up on the record label guy who didn't want to sign her, and she's singing this song. I'm sure the lyrics meant something, but I had to fast forward through it because I was like, I'm sorry, Brandy, but I can't. But either way, of course, at the end, he agrees to sign her because her musical rendition of whatever the hell it was she was singing was so great that he agrees to sign her. But in the contract, she has to agree that she's not going to perform with her group. It's just going to be her doing the new stuff. He was like, listen, I can't have you being a folk singer Monday through Friday and then an R&B trap rapper Saturday and Sunday. Like, you can't do both. Makes sense. Now, I'm with him on that. I understand. Okay, I understand. So we'll come back to that. So then Um, Notori decides she gonna go to church, and she gets to church, and the story didn't hit the paper because of course she came out on the BET Awards. So the story didn't hit the papers about her coming out, about her um, being a lesbian. And the people at the church are shunning her. Baby, you are in Montana, okay? She tried to go get communion, and the pastor is like, this is only for the pure at heart, and you ain't pure. She tried to shake everybody's hand, and nobody want to shake her hand. And so she is upset. She's like, dang, my own church is turning their back on me. Like, I expected certain things, but I didn't expect this. And her girlfriend is like, girl, what you expect? But why do you care? It's me, you against the world. Like, I got you. And she was like, but that is my religion. Like, it's important to me. Like, that is my faith. Now, of course, while they having this conversation, that's when little Debbie shows up, fresh out of the, rehab she done ran away from, explaining to them, like, listen, I didn't sign up for that. They want me to, like, share my feelings and everything, and I can't do it. I can't do it. Now, let me put a pause on that because I did forget about something. When Brandy was having breakfast with her daughter and with Cameron, they have the same taste in food, right? Because remember, we were so convinced that this baby belonged to Eric, but now they trying to, steer us in another direction that this might be Cameron's baby. And we do see one of the flashbacks of him rolling up on her, asking her, yo, what's up with your daughter? Is she mine? Because we do see that they had a moment together. We're going to get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. So Eve is down to the hospital with her husband. He didn't woke up after his surgery. It was successful. They said that they think he should be cancer free after he goes through his chemo. They're very optimistic that he will live. But he don't remember having an affair. And he's even arguing with her that he didn't have no affair. Shabba. But somehow or another, everybody ends up converging down to Eve's house. All of them are at Eve's house. Her husband well, no, her husband's still at the hospital. But all the girls from the group, plus little Debbie. And now here come Eric. Because Eric then convinced a concert promoter to do a concert down to the San Diego where they broke up on stage. Sort of like a, full circle moment. And he's convinced them to do the show, right? Now, what he didn't tell them was that he had to sort of back it up with his own money, because the promoter was like, listen, if they cancel, if they break up before we get to the show, you on the hook for this money. I'm not going to take the L on it, right? And so he put his own money up, aka him and Butter Pecan's money up to make it happen, right? Now, Brandy ain't really trying to do it. Brandy was like, listen, it was good. It was cool for one night, but I really ain't trying to put the band back together. But of course, everybody else is, because everybody else has their own reasons for wanting to put the band back together. Brandy, she really just don't want to do the trap thing no more. She want to be the folk singer down to the coffee shop with her acoustic guitar, right? But eventually she agrees to go along with it because, that's what the group wants. She gonna be a team player. We see her and Eric have a moment. Him and Brandy have a moment where basically Brandy is like, listen, you don't have nobody fooled, because basically what you doing is covering your own ass for what you did to us, basically, like, aka stole all our damn money. And he said, listen, I'm trying to make it, I'm trying to make it right. I'm trying to make it right, in every way. Again, insinuating the whole relationship thing. Now, let's get to that. We got a flashback on the whole relationship situation. What it seems like is him and Brandy had a little thingy thing going on before he had a thingy thing going on with Butter Pecan. But Brandy didn't want anybody to know what was happening. Brandy didn't want anybody to go public, because she said, listen, if anybody found out that the two of us are sleeping together, then basically I lose whatever respect and credibility that I had, because it's going to be like, oh, they only came up because she was sleeping with her manager. And he was like, yeah, but now we on top. Like, we are on top of the world. She was like, are you still sleeping with Butter Pecan? And he was like, listen, you the one that I want to be with. I want to be with you. You're the person that I want to be with. And she was like, but you ain't answer my question. Are you still sleeping with Butter Pecan? And he was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, that's what I thought. And so she leaves him, and that's when she rolls up on Cameron, and that's when they have their little one night. Now, I don't know if it lasted longer than one night, but that's why Cameron is even, in the mix. We also get flashbacks to seeing how things aren't as, rosy as it seems. They on top of the world, they making money and all of that. But Brandy was working on her solo album. Notori was, getting high. Eve was off gallivanting with, her flavor of the week. And Butter Pecan and Eric was doing what Butter Pecan and Eric was doing. And that's when Notori was like, why am I still driving a Corolla? Then we had this moment where they did their MTV Cribs situation where one of the, crew members, a female, kind of pushed up on her, and Notori like totally lost it. Now, part of it is because she was probably on a coke binge, but the other part was she really truly just, was, again, didn't want to live in her truth as a lesbian, and this woman was inviting her out on a date, and she was like, why would you even pull up on me like that? Why would you even think that it was going to go down like that? Because she see that you a lesbian. So later on that night, they all staying at EVE's house. There go Lil Debbie trying to sneak out to go to the club. And her and Notori get into it, right? And she's telling Notori, listen, why are you scared to be gay? Like, it's 2021. Everybody little gay. Okay? It's not even that big of a deal. And Notori is yelling at her like, listen, you want to head out to the club because you think just one drink, just one line. Well, one leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Girl, get it together. And so they sort of, again, they bond again on that, even though they got mad at each other and was going to walk away. But then they came back together and they bonded on it and all that good stuff. We see a touching moment between Eric and Eve, and you can see, again, it goes back to the fact that they were friends in high school. They've known each other even before they were celebrities and before they were stars. And we find out Eve's character, not only did she go to Columbia, not only did she have her undergrad, but she also has an MBA from Columbia. And he's like, listen, because they're, she's talking to him about what's going on in her marriage and stuff. And he said, listen, I might not know what your future holds and what you want to do with your husband and what decisions you want to make, but understand something, you're going to be all right. Like, you have your degrees, you have your experience, you're a great person. So don't worry about it. Whatever decisions you need to make that's in the best interest of your family, do that. But understand you're going to be all right. And so and she was like, man, I missed you, bro. So again, that lets you know that there was that bond was there, right? So after all of this done happened, child, we are at the San Diego show. It's sold out in like 12 minutes. Everybody wants to see them. So they're all backstage, ready to go on stage. And who is not there? Brandy. Okay, Brandy is not there. Trill is not there. Because remember, early on they had a rehearsal early on, and she wasn't really with them at the rehearsal because remember, she has to make a decision about signing on this contract. Either get her record deal with Cameron's record label and not perform with the group, or get her record label but perform with the group. So they ready to go out on stage, and Brandy ain't there. Brandy's actually outside of the arena contemplating what she gonna do. Inside, they're like, well, what happens if we don't go on stage? Oh my gosh, how we gonna not go on stage? And Eve was like, One monkey ain't about to stop this show. We here. She said, I don't know where we're going to be next week. I don't know if we're going to ever do this again. But for tonight, this is what we're doing. We are performing. And we get on that stage, whether it's 4 or 3 of us. So who with me? So everybody's like, yeah, we with it. So they go out on stage. And we see Brandy pull off. But they do their introductions on stage. And when it's time for Brandy's introduction, she there. And she like, come on, ladies, let's do this. And so that's how the episode ends. Y'all listen. Well, we see Notori go back to her church and tell her church, you gon' listen, this is my church. You're not going to push me out of here just because you a bigot and you hate gay people. We see Eve go back home, bring her husband home from the hospital, and just dealing with like, listen, that's my family. I know he did me dirty, but what am I going to do? So, yeah. That's where the episode ends. Like I said, for the exception of Brandy's daughter forgiving her overnight. I'm here for it. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.